Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 5 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Atlanta Hawks and Indiana Pacers. Man, let me tell you, this game between the Hawks and the Pacers has got me fired up, even though the Hawks are in a really tough spot right now. The Hawks are heading into Indiana on the back of a rough stretch. They just got blown out 137 to 115 by Cleveland, and that loss marked their 7th straight defeat. It's been a nightmare for Atlanta lately, and they're sitting around 9th in the East, which just shows you how much they're struggling. Now, you know the Hawks have been hit hard by injuries. Losing Jalen Johnson for the rest of the season due to that nasty labrum injury is a huge blow. And then you've got Bogdan Bogdanovic sitting out for personal reasons and Clint Capella missing the trip because of a lingering back issue. That means it's all on Trae Young. Our guy has been putting up crazy numbers, 22.5 points and 11.4 assists on average, but even he can only do so much when the supporting cast is down. It's a tall order expecting this young squad to keep up when they're not fully loaded. I mean, these Hawks haven't even managed to score over 96 points in 4 of their last 5 games. Their offensive flow is way off, and without that extra firepower, it's tough to expect a turnaround. On the flip side, the Pacers are looking sharp. They're currently sitting pretty at 5th in the East and have been on a tear lately, winning 8 out of their last 10 games. Their recent win against Detroit, 133 to 119, was a solid reminder of how good they can be when they're clicking. What really gets me excited is that Indiana already swept the Hawks 4-0 last season, so they've got that psychological edge coming in. Playing at home, where they're 13-8 this season, only adds to their mojo. One of the coolest matchups in this game is going to be Trae Young going head-to-head with Tyrese Haliburton. Both of these guys are the heartbeat of their teams. Young's a magician with the ball, breaking down defenses and making killer passes, but Haliburton, man, he's been on fire too, dishing out assists like they're nothing and running the floor with precision. This duel between the two floor generals is exactly the kind of high-scoring, back-and-forth action that gets the fans hyped. The Pacers aren't just relying on 1 or 2 stars, though. They've got a system that's been clicking on all cylinders lately. They're all about strong ball movement, quick transitions, and locking down on the perimeter. I expect them to capitalize on the Hawks' defensive lapses and take advantage of every turnover. The strategy is simple: hit the 3, attack the paint, and keep the tempo high. With the Hawks dealing with injury after injury and a 4-game stretch where they barely put points on the board, I'm leaning heavily towards Indiana. Bottom line, the Pacers look set to dominate this one. With their recent form, home court advantage, and that historical edge over Atlanta, I wouldn't be surprised to see Indiana cover a decent spread. Think double digits. Trae Young might put up a flashy stat line, but I just don't see it being enough to overcome a Pacers squad that's been playing some of their best basketball all season. So, in my book, the Pacers are primed for a comfortable win, and I'm all in on them to lay the points on the board tonight.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Denver Nuggets and Charlotte Hornets. Man, if you've been following the Nuggets this season, you know it's been a rough ride lately. After dropping a 122-112 game to the Knicks on the road, with Jamal Murray pouring in 33 points and Jokic only managing 17, it's clear something's off with Denver. They're still lighting it up offensively, averaging over 119 points 100 possessions and leading the league in dimes, but their defense is seriously letting them down. Allowing over 115 points 100 possessions is a hard pill to swallow when you're chasing that championship magic. And with key guys like Aaron Gordon sidelined for a good chunk of the season, he used to be the glue on those off-ball cuts with Jokic, the Nuggets are missing some of that old rhythm. Not to mention Jamal Murray's ongoing battle with consistency and health, and even our boy Nikola having an off night, shooting a meager 6, 4, 15 against New York. It's just not the MVP level performance we need. Then you have the bench issues. Ever since Bruce Brown left, bench scoring has been a ghost town. There's even chatter about Brown making a comeback, which could be a game changer for coach Mike Malone, but for now, it's a tough road ahead. And if you've been tracking Denver's recent East Coast tour, it's been brutal. They've been on a struggle bus, getting thumped by Minnesota, blown out by the Knicks, and then falling by 8 against the Bulls. With a 29-18 record, every slip-up on defense and each missed opportunity on offense is really adding up. Now, switching gears to Philly, the 76ers are in their own rough spot. They managed to squeak past the Sacramento Kings 117-104 on their home floor, riding on a stellar performance from Tyrese Maxey, who dropped 30 points, with Kelly Oubre Jr. chipping in 15. Maxey's been a revelation this season, emerging as one of the league's top secondary scorers. Despite playing more minutes than you'd think, his numbers, averaging 27.1 points per game and knocking down over 3 three-pointers a night, even if he's only hitting 33% from deep, are pretty impressive. Plus, Philly's perimeter defense was on point, forcing the Kings to waste shots from beyond the arc by hitting just 10 for 41. But despite that spark, the Sixers have been plagued by injuries all season. The additions, like Paul George, were meant to elevate the squad, but with both him and Embiid missing time, Philly's future is as murky as ever. Looking ahead to Friday night, we've got an intriguing scheduling quirk. The Hornets are playing the Clippers at home, getting to enjoy their own turf and the comfort of their own beds after a long week. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are set for a back-to-back nightmare, first taking on Philly and then jetting off to Charlotte to face the Hornets on the final night of a grueling East Coast run. History shows that teams on the last leg of a long road trip tend to be running on empty, and Denver's recent form certainly supports that theory. Now, if you ask me, this is a spot where you're forced to weigh your options carefully. In an ideal world, without the back-to-back grind, I might lean toward Denver. But with fatigue setting in and doubts lingering over Jokic's current form, it's hard to back them with a heavy double-digit spread. My gut says the Nuggets might pull around 120 points, while the Hornets could be somewhere near 107, setting up a shootout that should easily eclipse the 221-point line on the totals board. Bottom line, while it's tough to pick a definitive favorite given all the injuries, travel woes, and inconsistent play, I'm leaning toward the over on total points. Both teams seem set to prioritize offense over defense, and if history is any guide, we're in for another high-scoring affair. It's a wild matchup in a wild schedule, and if you're into betting, I'd keep an eye on that overline. Stay tuned, because in the world of hoops, anything can happen when fatigue and fire meet on the court. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Sacramento Kings and Oklahoma City Thunder. Man, you know when you think about a game that's just bubbling with storyline and talent, this one between the Kings and Thunder has got it all. The Kings looked absolutely fire in the first half of January, playing some of the smoothest, most efficient basketball we've seen from them this season. But lately, they've been slipping. 3 losses in 4 games have dropped them to a 24-23 record and pushed them down to 10th in the West. Their last outing was a tough one against the 76ers, where even though De'Aaron Fox dropped 19 points with 8 dimes, the vibes were off because of all the swirling trade rumors. Yeah, you heard that right. Just when it seemed like the Kings were finally shaking off a 17-year playoff drought and getting on track, word came out that GM Monty McNair might be looking to ship Fox out. San Antonio was even mentioned as a landing spot. And let's be real, when Fox is the heart and soul of the team, that kind of talk sets off a firestorm in the fan base. Meanwhile, the front office moves haven't exactly set the town on fire either. Sure, signing DeMar DeRozan over the summer had all the makings of a game changer, but so far, he's only delivered a few sparks. Domantas Sabonis has been locking it down on the glass and even leading the NBA in rebounding, but the team's defensive struggles keep nagging at them. Interim coach Doug Christie has got his work cut out for him trying to patch up those leaks, and it's hard to say how much he can turn things around, especially since the Kings haven't been too hot on the road. With this game against the Thunder looming, Sacramento's got to bring one of their A-game performances if they're going to make any noise. Now flip the script to the Thunder. Despite a surprising 116-109 loss to the Warriors, a bit of a shocker given their usual fortress-like performance at home, OKC is still a juggernaut in the West. Their defense has been next level this season, with a rating of 104.2. That's nearly 4 points per 100 possessions better than anyone else out there. Add in a home record of 37-10, and you see why they're always a tough nut to crack. They've shown time and again that even a setback doesn't keep them down for long. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the real deal, lighting up the stat sheet with averages of 32.5 points, 5.9 assists, and 5.2 boards per game. The way he goes one-on-one with defenders is just unreal, and you can see why his name gets thrown around in the MVP conversation. But he's not flying solo. Jalen Williams is chipping in with about 21 points per game, and Isaiah Hartenstein is anchoring the paint with the grit and toughness you need in the post. Plus, the supporting cast, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, and the rest of the bench are proving to be reliable pieces in head coach Mark Daigneault's game plan. From a betting standpoint, the Thunder have been a model of consistency. 29-15-3 against the spread speaks volumes. But don't count out the Kings just yet. Even though they're dealing with off-court drama and inconsistency on the road, they've got a high-octane offense that ranks in the top 10 in the league. They're protecting the ball, hitting free throws, and even keeping opponents in check on the glass and with their two-point shots. If Sacramento wants to pull off an upset, they need to lock in and control the tempo, bringing both energy and discipline on both ends. Sure, the Thunder recently gave up 116 points in that loss, which is a bit off their usual form, but if you know them at all, you're aware they can bounce back and tighten up their defense faster than you can say, fast break. And while most chalk the odds in OKC's favor with their elite defensive stats and consistent play, the Kings always have that unpredictable edge. Some might even lean towards betting on the Kings to cover a 10.5-point spread, with a total under 232 points, given the pace both teams are pushing roughly 100 possessions per game each. All in all, this matchup is a wild cocktail of drama, talent, and the kind of unpredictable moments that make the NBA so dang exciting. Whether you're riding the Thunder's wave of consistency and lockdown defense or banking on the Kings to rise above their distractions and show what they're really made of, one thing's for sure, we're in for a treat. As a diehard Hoops fan, I'm ready to sit back and watch as both teams bring the heat in what could be one of the season's most intriguing battles. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and New York Knicks. Man, tonight's game at Madison Square Garden is shaping up to be an absolute barn burner. The Lakers are coming off a massive blowout of the Wizards, 134-96, no less, and they're looking to keep that momentum rolling despite missing AD. LeBron's been orchestrating the offense like a true maestro, and Austin Reeves is really stepping up, dishing dimes and knocking down threes at a clip. They've been heating up from downtown, and even though they're listed as double-digit underdogs, when the Lakers get into their rhythm, they can flip the script in a heartbeat. Now, over in New York, the Knicks are on a tear. Sitting third in the East, they just put away the Nuggets 122-112 and are riding a slick 5-game win streak. It's been a total team effort with multiple guys stepping up, Brunson dropping 30 points on his last outing, and Julius Randle being a force in the paint. Brunson, in particular, has evolved into a bona fide floor general, running the offense with precision and confidence. With the Knicks' balanced scoring and smart floor spacing, they're proving to be a real tough nut to crack. What's really intriguing is the chess match this game is turning into. The Lakers, after a long stretch on the road, their fifth straight away from home before they head back to face the Clippers, have got to compensate for that injury bug. Missing AD really shifts the dynamic inside. They'll have to rely on LeBron's leadership and Reeves' ability to create and hit the open looks. Meanwhile, the Knicks will be looking to exploit their matchup advantages, especially if they can get Karl-Anthony Towns and Brunson to sync up and run their plays effectively. I'm expecting a classic showdown where every possession counts. When the Lakers are clicking, even as underdogs, they've shown they can keep the game within striking distance, sometimes even flipping the spread. But if New York keeps that high-octane offensive flow going and continues to run tight defensive rotations, they could very well extend their hot streak and put the game away early. It's one of those contests where it might come down to who nails the pick and roll, who can switch on defense without missing a beat, and who's got the sharper clutch gene when the game's on the line. All in all, this one has all the makings of a classic hoops battle. Both squads have their strengths, Lakers with their savvy veteran play and emerging young talent, and Knicks with their balanced, high-scoring attack. I wouldn't be surprised to see the underdogs, the Lakers, covering that 10-point spread if they can tighten up on defense and limit the Knicks' tempo. It's going to be a test of grit, strategy, and sheer will, and I'm all in for watching these two storied franchises duke it out in what promises to be a gritty, fast-paced slugfest. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Phoenix Suns and Portland Trail Blazers. Man, the Suns are rolling into Portland with a swagger that comes from a big-time win over the Warriors. They put up 130 against Golden State on the road and notched their 25th win, now sitting at 25-22, 8 in the West. But don't get it twisted. Even with that hot shooting display, Phoenix still has some holes in their game, especially on defense. I mean, they blew a home game to the Timberwolves after a rough second half where they let the opponents drop 66 points, 40 of those coming in the final quarter. When your D is that porous, it's only a matter of time before it catches up with you. Now, on offense, the Suns are loaded. You got Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker lighting it up like it's nobody's business. Against the Warriors, this trio combined for 71 points. Booker racked up 31 with 11 dimes, Beal chipped in 21, and Durant added 19. And let's not forget Nick Richards, the new guy from Charlotte, who grabbed 16 rebounds and scored 14. That kind of hustle is exactly what you need when you're trying to cover for a defensive deficiency. But with whispers swirling about trade moves, names like Nurkic and Beal getting tossed around, it's hard not to wonder if the Suns' locker room is simmering with off-court drama. On the flip side, you've got the Trailblazers, who've been quietly setting the league on fire. Fresh off a 119-90 rout of the Magic at home, Portland's record might read 19-29, but don't let that fool you. They're riding a 2-game winning streak, and in their last 7 outings, they've only tasted defeat once, and that loss was to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the best team in the league. What's their secret sauce? Defense. In the last 8 games, they're ranking among the top in the league, holding opponents to just 106.8 points per 100 possessions. When you can lop down on that end of the floor, you've got a real chance to upset a powerhouse like Phoenix. Now, let's talk young guns. Scoot Henderson has been catching fire lately. He dropped 23 points, dished out 7 assists, and pulled down 5 boards against the Magic, and he's been showing signs of leveling up. Shaedon Sharpe wasn't far behind, matching that output, which is exactly what you need when you're building a team on the fly. There was a mix-up mentioning DeAndre Ayton with Portland, but we all know he's locked in with the Suns. Still, the Blazers' emerging core is something to watch, especially when they're in full defensive mode. The game's setting up to be a real chess match. The Suns, when they're clicking, can slice through any defense with slick ball movement. The Warriors' game had them dishing out 41 assists. But if they can't clamp down on the defense, Portland's pressure will force them into tough shots. Meanwhile, the Blazers' game plan is all about stifling the big guns. They're going to try and disrupt Phoenix's rhythm, force turnovers, and then push the ball in transition. It's classic counterattacking basketball, defense turning into offense in a heartbeat. Now, I've been a Suns skeptic for a while. They just don't cover the spread, and their recent defensive lapses are a concern. With trade rumors swirling and Booker looking a little extra fired up after missing out on the All-Star team, you've got a team that might be too distracted to lock in. On the other hand, Portland has been resting up nicely at home, playing with a chip on their shoulder and that extra swagger of a team coming off a big win. I've seen them cover in 7 straight games, and honestly, they're looking sharper than ever. When you see a team like that, riding high on momentum and feeding off that defensive intensity, you can't help but get excited about what they might pull off. So where do I stand? I'm leaning toward a game that won't be high-scoring. Defense is going to be the name of the game. My gut says the total points will come in under 229.5. With the Suns trying to get their offense rolling against a Blazers squad that's been tightening up every time they step on the court, it's going to be a battle of wills. Will the Suns' firepower overcome Portland's lockdown defense, or will the Trailblazers steal the spotlight on their home floor? It's one of those matchups where you've got all the drama, trade rumors, young guns stepping up, and that clash between a high-octane offense and a stifling defense. Sure, the The Suns have the star power to make a statement, but if they don't solve their defensive issues, the Blazers could very well steal the win. And while I'm still a bit skeptical of the Suns' ability to cover the spread given their recent inconsistencies, I wouldn't be surprised if Portland takes this one, or at least forces a low-scoring slugfest that keeps bettors on their toes. At the end of the day, this game is more than just another notch in the schedule. It's a litmus test for the Suns' championship aspirations, and a chance for Portland to show that they can hang with the heavy hitters, even if they're not yet a playoff team. I'm ready to watch every hustle play, every defensive stop, and every slick pass that might just decide the game. And as a true hoops junkie, I can't wait to see which team's narrative will take center stage tonight.